In this video, we'll be looking at support and resistance lines. They are the simplest yet most effective tool that I have in my toolbox. Support and resistance lines, or levels, are basically prices that we believe the markets will face some resistance due to historical price movements. Now when we talk about support, we refer to the price level at which we expect price to start facing resistance when it comes to declining any further. Likewise, for resistance, we refer to it to be the price level at which we expect price to face resistance when moving upwards. Okay, so now that we know what support and resistance lines are, we'll be going through how to draw these lines. Now, I'll be going through a few things to take note of when you want to plot your own lines. And so with tip number 1, always look at a higher time frame chart as they have the highest weight, since banks and other large financial institutions also pay close attention to them. So for example, even though we're usually trading the 15-minute chart, when it comes to plotting these lines, you want to move to the 4-hour chart in order to get the most accurate lines. This will help you filter out the minor resistance lines in order for you to see the bigger picture and get the most major ones out from the charts. Tip 2. Look at the levels that over time get lots of attention. The more times the level held, the better. If it gets rejected from these levels over and over again, or if the level held as resistance at one point, is broken, and price then used it as support, it adds more weight in terms of importance down the line. Tip 3. Look to see if price got to that level after having a nice run. For example, if price had to travel 100 pips in a day to get to that level, it adds even more weight in my books that the level is likely to be able to hold. Tip 4. Watch how price got rejected the last few times. This usually gives me an indication of how strong the market is or how strong the level is likely to hold. For example, in this first scenario, you can see that after price hit resistance, it actually formed 4 tiny candles before finally retracing a little bit back down and then moving back up again. And therefore you can actually tell that this resistance line wasn't very strong as it did not push price down immediately. Similarly, in this second scenario, you can see that after price has hit the support line, it barely went up and down and continued threading this line over and over again. And therefore it shows you that price is trying to press its way through the support line, and as you can see, it eventually broke it. And therefore, by looking at how many times the price actually hit the line after candle, you're actually able to tell whether or not this line is going to hold up with much strength or not. Now, if we move on to the third scenario, this is where you can see very clearly, as you can tell from the front, that the moment price actually hit this support line the first time, it actually bounced right up, forming a very big, long wick. And this actually shows that this line is very likely to hold and it's quite strong since price immediately bounced back from it. And therefore you can tell that the second time it's going to hit, it's very likely to hold. And as you can tell in this situation, the second time price actually hit the support line, it held very well. And ever since then, the price has not actually broken the support line. So therefore you can tell by the way the price actually hits the support line. If there's going to be a very big reaction the first time round, it is likely that this line is going to hold this next time round, as compared to one where it barely touches the lines and it doesn't show much movement after that. It's very unlikely for such a line to hold over and over again. Finally, to wrap things up, now that you have learned the basics of how to plot support and resistance lines, it's time to go out and start practicing this so that you are able to do this intuitively. Start by practicing on past charts and remember not to overcomplicate this and end up drawing too many lines. The aim here is about being able to spot the more major ones and not going for just large quantities of lines. Thanks guys, and I'll see you in the next video.